Hello, and today we were playing Zomewhere Else. So we got to meet Martha last time, who was the Mothman. For those of you who don't remember, we actually got to see the Mothman in a dream Chad was having. I think it was like while I was at work, or we got caught. Well, we was out naked at work, and there was a dream of the Mothman. So here we are now, and he got to beat the Mothman in person. So he calls the Mothman Martha. That's the name he's given the Mothman. And you see the Mothman now on the screen here, and you can see what he looks like from the back. Looks like he's wearing a shirt or something. Is that what it looks like? Or maybe it's not a shirt, but it's something else. But anyway, you're gonna see more of Martha. However, as he's petting you, his eyes trail to your arms, and you can practically see the light bulb that pops up over his head as he snaps his fingers. He carefully pushes you a few steps back, then turns to face the big ass hill you fell down with a look of determination in his eyes. He crouches down, then spreads his wings out behind him. They're actually surprisingly majestic, especially for wings that apparently don't let the big guy fly. Then, in a single motion, he flaps his wings downwards while launching himself up, throwing forest debris all over the place, but your eyes are more focused on him. With that extra beat of his wings, he actually managed to jump super high up, grabbing onto one of the tree's bigger, longer branches overhead. Oh, that was cool. Your envious wonder quickly fades, though, as you realize he's not stopping. He jumps elegantly from branch to branch, swinging around like some kind of ninja far above your head and way out of your reach. Hey, wait. He stops mid-swing, dangling from both his left arm as he looks back down at you. I can't do that. I can't jump even close to that height. He thinks for a moment, then begins working his way back down to you. With one last mighty swing, he jumps back down to your level, landing with an earth-shaking thud in front of you, yet despite the height seeming completely unfazed. He gets up close to you, and despite being nothing but gentle, you can't help but feel slightly intimidated by his size. With him this close, you can smell his pollen-like scent clearly. He points your arm with one hand, and then thrusts another fist into the air with a serious look on his face. Then his face softens instantly, and he looks back at you expectantly. What? What does that mean? He ponders for a moment, tapping at his forehead with a finger, seemingly thinking about the best way to convey his meaning. Then he grabs your wrist, bending it up a little, and then lifts it quickly, forcing your arm to imitate the fist pump he just did. As your fist shoots upward, your magical hand emerges from it without your input. Whoa. Completely caught off guard, you pull your hand back from your grasp and step away from him, shaking that hand as the magical one disappears. How do you... When you look back up at him, his eyes are shining with approval at you. He once again pumps his fist in the air. How do you make me do that? How do you know about my power? He stares at you blankly for a moment. Looks up with his hand on his chin. Then looks at you and shrugs, apparently completely unbothered by this revelation. Do you have powers too? He nods. Can I see them? He thinks for a moment, then shakes his head. Oh, are you even able to use them? He nods and pauses before shaking his head. After another moment, he shrugs. Alright then. That does explain how you knew about my weird hand. He merely shrugs. I have so many questions right now. As you scratch your head, attempting to organize a storm of thoughts in your head, Martha stands in front of you patiently. But, I'm guessing you can't answer any of them, can't you? He shakes his head. Alright, so how do I get out of here? He stares at you for a second and then thrusts his fist into the air once again. You look back down at your hand, flexing your fingers. You want me to? He nods before you can even finish your thought. Alright, I guess. At his insistence, you retract your arm and throw a punch, making your polygonal hand appear once more. Martha applauds with his four hands, while the magic hand just floats in between the two of you. You pull your hand back a bit, expecting it to follow with a bit of delay, but follows your movements perfectly. Huh? That's new. Now that I think about it, I never got the chance to do any practice with it. After experimenting with this change for a bit, you realize that Martha had just been staring at you, clearly waiting for you to finish. Oh, sorry. So now what? He scans the ground around your feet, his eyes eventually landing on a long branch nearby. He picks it up, then turns and holds it up to you proudly while pointing at your polygonal hand. You reach to grab it, but before you can, he holds it up, then makes the same fist pump. Molson once again, grabbing onto the branch this time. Oh, want me to use this to grab onto it? He nods enthusiastically, and then holds it out for you to try. You take a deep breath and hold your hands, both normal and magic, up to the branch, palm open, and attempt to grab it. Since you only ever really used it for fighting, you struggle with finding motions like grabbing. It's definitely going to take you some time to get used to your hands' new improved magical extension, but Martha watches it patiently and eagerly. After a bit more trial and error, you finally manage to grab it. As soon as it closes around you, the branch, you can feel the cold and wet sensation in the palm of your empty hand. Martha lets the branch go carefully. You can feel its weight, too, but it's definitely lighter than you think it should be. He claps excitedly for you, praising you as best he can for a job well done, but it doesn't really feel like that major of an accomplishment. With how intense things have been lately, something as simple as grabbing a branch with your magical hand should have been easy, and yet it took you several minutes. You let out a sigh, pushing the thoughts away for now, as you experiment once again with a new feeling of holding something with your other hand until you have at least a slightly better feel for it. Alright, I think I've kind of got it. Now what? He glances between you and the branch suspended in the air, and then approaches you. He brings one of his hands up next to your real hand that's controlling the magic one, and makes a show of clenching it into a fist and shaking it a bit to emphasize the grip, staring at you as he does. I think that means keep holding on to it tight. He nods twice, and then walks over to the branch, grabbing either end and gives it a little push. As your magic hands push back with the branch, your body in turn slides back as well, just like when Bruce's scarf dragged you before. Whoa. He gives it a turn next, pulling you back into position before staring at you gleefully. Alright, so it's attached to my body. I get it. Martha looks at you and nods, then walks back over to you once, again making the hold on tight gesture. Keep holding on. Got it. He nods and then grabs your arm with one hand, and then somehow grabs your nearby magic hand with another. You do notice a faint red glow in his outstretched palm, though. He focuses on your distant hand as his grip on you begins to shake you a little bit. Suddenly, your magic hand begins to slowly move away from you. It feels similar to how Martha pushed you around through the branch before, but his grip holds you in place this time. Whoa, what are you doing? After a bit more distance, he turns back to you and releases his grip on you. You expect your polygonal hand to come back like like a rubber band, but it stays in place. Oh, nice. How did you do that? Martha giggles, then flexes one of his arms before nodding to you, probably indicating that he wants you to do it too. You oblige flexes your arm as well, as expected the polygonal hand does the same, keeping its new distance from you. Oh, awesome. Now, it didn't affect its responsiveness at all, but, how do I bring it back? He holds two hands up, one close to his body and the other further away, using another one of his arms to make sure your attention is on this little charade. He tenses the muscles in the closer arm tightly, so much so that you can see the veins. In response, he pulls a further hand towards the tense arm. Then he relaxes the tension in his arm, once again pushing the other hand back out away from his body. Oh, I get it. That's surprisingly easy, actually. You focus on your polygonal hand and tighten your arm muscles, watching as the hand retracts towards you. When you release the tension, it stops in place. Wow, this thing keeps getting cooler by the second. He applauds, nodding excitedly as you experiment with pushing the hand around by tension and relaxing your muscles. I guess you could say it's pretty handy, eh? Martha immediately starts clapping, staring at you and tilting his head. Oh, yeah, I guess you wouldn't really get puns, huh? Don't worry about it. He giggles, presumably at your expression, before returning his attention to his tutorial. He puts his arms back in the last pose they were in, then points to his head with another hand, poking himself in the forehead twice with a finger. He repeats the same motion that he used to teach you how to move your hand around. Wait, did I do it wrong? I already got that part. He pokes himself in the head once more, then points down to his arms without applying any attention to his arm. He still brings the other hand in close and pushes it away. Then he points to his head once again, repeating the motion over and over again. Oh, I think I get it. Kinda. Hold on. You focus once more on your magic hand. Repeat the process of bringing it in close and sending it away, using your muscles alone to get a feel for it. Then you try to replicate the sensation in your mind. But nothing happens. You glance over to Martha, who looks kind of bummed it didn't work. You are trying to teach me how to do it with my mind, right? He nods. I'm still pretty new when it comes to all this magic stuff, so I probably just need more practice. He nods again. Oh well, for now this should work, I think. Now what? He pulls out towards your magic hand, then up towards the rises high above, and one last time punches his fist in the air. So you want me to... Okay, I get it. Martha nods. Should I go first, or... Martha nods eagerly, gesturing towards you as if to say, yeah, go ahead. Alright then. You take a deep breath, rhythmically flexing your fingers as you mentally prepare for the task ahead. Look up, you scanned over the branches above you, trying to find a good place to start. In doing so, you see the trail your painful tumble left along the face of the hill, whistling as the dull, full-body ache lightly resurges as the memory floods back into your head. As nice as it would be to just walk back up, with the hill being covered entirely in wet grass and muddy dirt, you no doubt gouge another painful trail down the face before getting anywhere. The trees are even too far apart to properly use its points to grab onto. On the other hand, the trees' branches definitely are close enough together and they look strong enough. You figure if they were strong enough to hold Martha, then you would be good. Alright, here goes nothing. You flex, extend it. You flex and extend your arm, the polygon of hand appearing once more, where your eyes zero in on the branch that seems just low enough for you to grab. You raise your arms up towards it, the polygon of hand, following your movements exactly as you reach. Martha watches your every motion with proud, expectant eyes, like a parent eagerly watching their child take their first steps. It's a bit embarrassing but empowering at the same time. There's no way you can let the big let down. However, even with your arm fully extended, you're still a couple of meters side of the polygon of hand actually reaching the branches. Alright, focus. You tighten the muscles in your arm, pushing your magical appendage further out until it eventually collides with the branches above. The sensation of bark and leaves dance along the back of your mind, confirming once again that you can sort of feel through it. This thing is really impressive. I wonder what else it can do. Actually, now that I think about it, hey Martha's attention, which had followed your magic hand up to the branches, quickly turns back to you. Before now, my magical hand, wasn't just responsive. There used to be a little delay, and I definitely couldn't feel anything with it either. Did you do something to it? Mother gives you a puzzled look, eyes drifting upwards as a hand comes up to his chin, making a prolonged, barely audible humming noise as he thinks. Then he shrugs. Of course. Whatever. One thing at a time, Chad. Focus on getting out of here first. You quickly shrug it off, returning your attention back to the branches above and to your hand that's lightly resting on them. Flexing your fingers one final time, your mind grabbing the branches with your normal hand and the magical one mirrors you perfectly gripping on tight. Nice. The tension in your arm falters for a moment as you admire your handiwork, and before you know it, whoa! Your whole body lifts off the ground, being pulled upwards by some mysterious force towards your magic hand. I'm not ready yet. How do I? In panic, you harshly tighten the muscles in your arm. Once again, you quickly return back to the ground, while falling so fast from the uncontrolled descent that you lose your balance. Before your butt finds its way to the floor, Martha scoots you up with all four arms, sparing your poor behind from more damage. The suddenness of it all causes your focus to slip far enough that your polygonal hand fades away. Thank you, Martha. Your face heats up a bit as he holds you close, his now familiar scent once again flooding your nose as you shyly look away, which seems to amuse him. Martha giggles a bit and gently puts you back on your feet. It's actually a lot harder than I thought it would be. Martha looks at you and tilts his head. Then again, I suppose the lifting myself off the ground is a lot different than just holding a branch out, huh? He nods, patting you on the shoulder with one hand and giving a thumbs up with another. Well, if anything, his enthusiasm certainly is infectious. Alright, let's give this another shot. Could you, help if my ass tries to find the ground again? Martha tilts his head. What? You don't know what an ass? Martha just looks at you, not sure what you mean. Just please try to grab me again if I fall. Martha nods at you happily. Man, I get the feeling I was sick at taking care of kids. Here's hoping Jenny doesn't plan to open a daycare. Alright, here I go. Repeat the earlier process again, manifesting your magic hand sitting up the branches once again. After a bit of hesitation, making sure you found a sturdy one, you grab on. Taking a deep breath to mentally prepare, you slowly tighten your arm just a tiny bit, eventually lifting yourself off the ground by just a few centimeters. You take a moment to appreciate the feeling. With how dim the sensation of holding onto the branches through your hand, it really does feel like you're just floating. It's a weird feeling, but it kind of makes you feel like a superhero. After you've had your brief moment to acclimate yourself, you release the tension and carefully lower yourself back to the ground. When your feet touch the ground again, Martha applauds your progress. Not to definitely think I got it this time. Martha nods eagerly, looking like he's about to burst from excitement and pride. It's funny to watch him act like a proud parent when he himself has such bountiful childlike innocence. With one last smirk and a nod towards him, you turn your attention back up to the branch once more, tightening your arm a bit more this time and lifting yourself up further than before. Alright, so if I do it like this, you start alternating between tightening your arm and relaxing it, balancing yourself up and down repeatedly, finding yourself laughing giggly as you amuse yourself. After a few moments of this, you turn your attention back to Martha, give him an enthusiastic thumbs up with your free hand. Oh yeah, I definitely think I got the hang of this now. It's actually pretty fun. Reminds me of playing a new video game. And you just smash all the buttons to see what they all do, and before you realize it, your grip begins to loosen on the branch and you find yourself plummeting back to the ground, which Martha dutifully saves you from. By the time you look back down, your magic hand has already vanished. Martha gently places you on your feet once more, patting your shoulders with a gentle expression. Actually, he might just be pitying your incredibly frail focus. Sorry, I shouldn't be messing around. I'll be more careful. Martha giggles for a nod. Alright, I think I'm ready to do this for real now. Though, could you go first? Martha tilts his head. That way, I can see which branches are strong enough. I just want to follow your lead to know which are the safest ones to hang from. Don't worry, I do think I'm going to follow. Don't worry, I don't think I'm going to fall anymore. Martha understands and nods happily. Martha gently pushes you aside, then turns his attention upwards, scanning around for a moment. Once he locates his preferred starting point, he fans his wings out and crunches down. Just don't get too far ahead. Completely ignoring you, Martha launches himself upwards with a mighty beat of his wings, quickly making his way across the branches. Hey, wait up! You summon your hand swiftly, reattaching to the branch he first grabbed onto above. However, even in the short time it took you to do that much, Martha's already gotten far ahead of you, swinging from branch to branch with surprising ease. Worried that you were about to be left behind, you pull yourself up as fast as you can, eventually managing to grab onto the branch with your other hand. Damn it, Martha, I said wait up. Maintaining your grip with your real hand, you reach out for the next branch with your magic hand and grab on tight. You release your real grip on the first branch, inevitably swinging forward as you maintain your magic hand's grip. Your feet come dangerously close to touching the slope, but a minor adjustment in your height prevents that. Once you manage to slow your swinging down enough, you retract yourself up all the way, once again grabbing on with both hands. Damn it, that's not nearly as easy as just putting myself straight up. Man, I'm really glad I'm as in shape as I am. There's no way I would have been able to do this before. Silver lining to losing 10 years, I guess. Older from this branch, you look up to see where Martha went, but you can't see any sign of him. If you listen, though, you can still hear him swinging far ahead of you. You let out a sigh, then inhale deeply. My fuck. Guess I still hurry. Once again, you aim your polygonal hand to the next branch and grab it, this time tightening your arm before releasing your hand from the branch so you don't swing that much. You safely grab the You say you got to grab the other branch with your other hand far more smoothly than last time. Quicker too, which is definitely a plus right now. With each and every time you pull or retract yourself, it becomes easier. You're almost getting used to it by now. You continue to follow Martha as best you can, each cycle getting easier than the last. After a few minutes, you finally begin to see the top of the slope, and if the broken branches deform bushes and flattened grass below your feet or any indication you're fairly close to where you first fell down. You continue your ascent, getting closer and closer to the top until the same squeeze you heard earlier. Now it's coming from where you are heading. You instantly freeze in place, breathing, breath hissing in your throat and a cold sweat forming along your forehead. But before the fear paralyzes you, remember your new friend. Oh shit. Martha! You pick up your pace, clumsily scrambling up the last few branches towards the top of the slope, not even bothering to slow your last swing before releasing your grip, dismissing your magic hand. Your feet hit the ground hard as you have to run with your momentum for a few steps before coming to a full stop, panting and covered in sweat as your eyes scan your surroundings. Damn it. Why the hell is it still around? In the distance, you can make out the sounds of trees snapping and leaves rustling frantically, as if a desperate struggle was happening just out of your view. You waste no time in dancing off towards the sounds, praying that Martha isn't involved and ignoring the fact that the options are fairly limited. You mad dash through bushes and between twigs comes to a screeching halt as you find the source of the noise, your entire body freezing in place by what you witness. A massive creature with arms that glow like fire has Martha pinned to the ground. It looks like its body is covered in long, bony protrusions. The thing's face is no different, making it look like it's wearing a skull mask, traits you only notice when another screech pulls your attention to its head. It's frantically flailing its arms at Martha, slashing with long, sharp claws, with Martha nearly able to avoid or block each one, even with his 4 powerful arms. Martha! The moment your voice calls out, it immediately pulls both of their attention to you, with the creature instantly ceasing its furious attack. Martha, however, only momentarily glances back at you. That momentary distraction was just what the Mothman needed. It seemed as he reared back and punched the skull-faced monster as hard as he could with both his left arms, kicking it away. The monster flew back surprisingly far, deflecting off a tree stump and falling into some bushes. Before you're even able to start running to Martha's side, he's already back up on his feet. Martha, are you... Your silence as he breaks into a sprint towards you, one of his hands snagging yours as he passes you by, dragging you back to the way you came into the woods. You stumble at first, but quickly manage to get your bearings back. Careful. You weren't even able to make it more than a few steps before looking back over your shoulder and spotting the monster lunging directly at you and Martha. Your body moves on impulse, kicking yourself forward and tackling Martha to the ground with as much strength as your exhausted legs can muster. Thankfully, it's enough as you both collapse to the ground just as a massive form flies past you just above your head. Martha helps you both stand back up, making himself into a barrier between you and the monster as you both slowly step away from it. You're both panting heavily as your heart is racing in your chest. If the throbbing Martha's hand still tightly wrapped around yours is any indication you're not alone either. With a gulp, you watch the monster as its head bounces rhythmically up and down, ever so slightly, almost like it's sniffing the air. It's trying to track you by scent. But what do we do? The complete lack of a response from Martha sends a chill down your spine. You're fighting hard against your body to keep it from succumbing to the fear. With barely a second's warning, the creature crouches down and splays its claws back out. Martha tisses, putting his arms back up in front of himself. Before you can even react, it lunges once again, slamming into Martha with such force that sends them both flying back into you, which knocks you onto the ground in turn. After shaking your head to stave off some encroaching dizziness, you look back to the fighting pair to see that Martha had somehow grabbed both of the creature's wrists with his lower pair of hands. The screech is even louder than before, writhing violently, trying to jerk its hand out of Martha's grip, to no avail. Martha, hang on! You scramble back to your feet, snatching up a hefty branch as you try your best to steady your breathing. Ignoring you, the monster's jaws open, baring sharp teeth at Martha, but just a moment before lunging toward, attempting to clamp down on his neck, he barely manages to grab it around the throat with his other pair of arms, stopping its bite from landing. As he cleared the distance to the pair, the monster continues frantically, stabbing its jaws towards Martha, who is once again barely able to hold it off. Once you're only a few meters away, the monster's furious biting stops, almost like it's managed to latch onto something. It begins to violently jerk its head back and forth like a rabid dog trying to snap the neck of its flesh catch. You ignore the motion, instead slamming the branch against the monster's face, Martha releasing his grip at the same time as the branch snaps in half, the monster tumbles off on Martha, rolling a few feet away. You drop the broken, useless branch to the ground as you help Martha to his feet. Come on, we have to run. To your surprise, Martha shakes his head. What? What do you mean, no? What the hell are we supposed to do then? The monster stands back up, and despite the massive blow to its head, it seems completely unaffected. All you really managed to do was knock it away. Martha looks at you and motions for you to do a punch. You think that will work against that huge thing? Martha doesn't answer, keeping his focus glued to the monster as it slowly prowls in front of you, a low growl following its every step, clearly ready to lunge once again at a moment's notice. Damn it. Alright, fine, here goes nothing. With a slight pivot of its foot, the monster turns to face you fully and lunges, but thankfully you both had enough time to sidestep the attack. Near the moment it touches the ground, it spins around and lunges again, as you and Martha does what's more. You follow up with a punch, manifesting your massive hand, which barely manages to nick its foot as it passes by. So, unsurprisingly, it barely even acknowledges a hit, though you could feel a surprising amount of warmth along your knuckles when you're connected. Damn it. Should have known that wouldn't work. Really running out of options here. Damn it, Chad, think. The monster lets out another shriek as it prepares to attack a third time, but before it can, the steep hill behind you flashes through your mind. Wait, Martha, I think I've got an idea. Martha looks at you expectantly, a flash of hope passing his face as he does. It's not perfect, but at least it's something. Come on, follow me. Martha nods, and you both begin backing up towards the cliff with the monster in hot pursuit. Realization flashes across Martha's face as you get close. Dawson, just like we did before, alright? Martha nods once again, confirming he understands your plan as you reach the slope, which thankfully only took a couple seconds. Alright, get ready. As the monster prepares to lunge once again, and to make sure it's a good one, you summon your magic hand and motion with the other to antagonize it. Come at you, big ugly bitch. It's hard to tell if the thing is even cognizant enough to be antagonized, but still works at least well enough to see it lunging at you with all its might. As it does, and Martha dives to the side, you spell your heel and leap off the edge. Thrusting your massive hand out, you manage to latch onto a branch above, swinging outwards away from the slope while the monster falls below you. However, just when you think you're in the clear, it manages to grab onto your foot. Ah! Its touch burns your skin like fire, but despite the pain, you manage to cling to the branch with all your might. The added weight, however, is straining the branch above, causing it to audibly crack and give way. You start frantically kicking at its hand with your other foot while the monster simultaneously claws at you with its free hand. All the while, the burning on your foot grows more and more painful. Get off of me, you bastard! Suddenly, something below you catches the monster's attention, so much so that it miraculously releases your foot, falling down to the slope and tumbling down it. Even though it lets go, your foot continues to burn. The monster makes an even more violent descent than you do when you're snapping wood and rustling leaves, crying out in a painful cacophony below you. You can't see it though, as the brush is too thick. You let out along the leaves side, then peek over your shoulder to the cliff, spotting Martha waving at you from the edge. Carefully, you get yourself stricken again to leap back. Once you've gotten enough momentum, you let yourself go, placing your trust in Martha. As expected, you gingerly catches you, wrapping you up in all four arms. I can't believe that worked. Despite your joyous, proud laughter, Martha's expression is dense with worry as he carries you over to a soft patch of leaves and sets you down on them. Then he crosses his arms and glares at you like a disappointed parent. Your laughing fit quickly fades away and you awkwardly look away, ashamed. I know. But I mean, it's not like we had many other options, right? He looks you over for a moment, then stumps a bit with what looks like a sigh, probably admitting you're right. Anyway, we should probably get out of here. I'm certain that's not going to keep that damn monster out of our hair for long. Martha nods, moving to help you back to your feet, but you get up on your own. At least you try to, but the moment you put that burnt foot down, a searing pain cuts through you and you fall back to the ground. Ah, ow. What the hell did that thing do to me? There's no way I can walk on this. Martha, can you? Before you can even finish asking a question, Martha has already crouched down, motioning for you to climb up onto his back for a picket ride. You let out a small chuckle and manage to clamber up onto his big, broad back with a little help. He wraps his lower arms around your legs while you wrap your arms around his fluffy neck. You said you know a way out of this forest, right? Martha nods. Alright, let's be quick then. I don't want to spend one more minute here. I'll keep an eye out, so you just focus on getting us out of here, alright? He nods again, and without another word, now that there could be with him, he starts making his way through the bushes, once again carrying you back up the mountain. It's not long before you inevitably realize that you're still going up the mountain now, not down. Wait. One of Martha's antenna twitches and he turns his head slightly to look at you. Where exactly are we going? You don't get very much of a response. Okay, let me rephrase the question. You're taking me somewhere, out of the forest, right? Martha shakes his head. Your eyes go wide. Your grip tightening on him somewhat unconsciously. But what are you taking me? Your frantic question is cut short when you're struck with the realization. Actually, I did say I wanted to take him back to his mom, didn't I? Maybe he's been meaning that C can tell me how to get out of here. Yeah, that must be it. But is this the way I came before? I don't remember seeing a house or anything around the lake. Not like I really had the chance to look for one. Remember now, you're taking me to your mom, right? Martha nods, and you're relieved that you were worrying for nothing. That relief quickly turns back at your panic when you realize that that thing that dove into the water earlier was a monster. It definitely wasn't the one you just fought, since it wasn't where at all. I hope she's okay. Consciously mutter that under your breath, and instantly Martha's grip on you tightens. You picks up his pace, breaking into a jog, and you feel a pain of guilt. Whoa there, slow down, Martha. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm sure that even if a monster got to her, if she's tough enough to take care of you, then she could probably beat it up all by herself, no sweat. Martha continues to run for a bit, but seemingly, after pondering your words, slows down a bit, nodding with a little relieved, contemplative hum. Phew, close one. Need to watch what I say. I definitely recognize this area, though. We're getting closer to that. Martha stops instantly, and you can feel his heart rate skyrocket as a cold sweat forms on his face. You're in a similar boat, clinging tighter to him with his breath as the squeaks rings in your ears. No way, there was another one. At the start, the different screeches were from the same monster. No wonder if it was so animate that I went away. Wait, oh no, Fred! Almost in response to your panic exclamation, Martha burst into a full-on sprint, dancing through the trees at a breakneck speed. Martha and I could barely shake one together, where Fred's been fighting one all by himself this entire time. Damn it, I knew I shouldn't have left him behind. That goddamn idiot. You do your best to try and stifle the growing panic in your chest, but considering the circumstances, it's not easy. As you get closer to the edge of the forest by the lake, you can hear the telltale sounds of someone in a fight, just like when Martha and the monster were scuffling before. Your heart immediately sinks. Martha, wait. He stops his tracks, waiting for your follow-up, but he keeps his eyes focused ahead. A friend of mine might be up ahead, and he might need my help. It's too dangerous for you to keep getting involved, so... Before he can finish, he interrupts you with a firm shake of his head, glancing back at you with a covered look in his eyes. I had a feeling that would be the case, though I suppose it's for the best. I'd probably just end up dying for nothing with my messed up foot. Mother nods at you and gives you a thumbs up. Despite the guilt you feel over constantly involving the poor guy in these dangerous situations, you're relieved to have him at your side. Mother nods at you and gives you a thumbs up. Despite the guilt you feel over constantly involving the poor guy in these dangerous situations, you're relieved to have him at your side. You'd be lying if you said you didn't hope for this, but to be honest, as dangerous as it is for the big guy, you'd definitely be up sick quick without a paddle, without his constant aid. Alright, well, we have the element of surprise, which is turning out to be quite rare for me today, so let's use it to our advantage. Let's just sneak up to the edge of the trees first and see if it's even my friend. Could just as easily be a monster rampaging by itself. If that's the case, we just go, okay? Martha nods and turns his attention back to the front, oozing with confidence, though you can still feel him separately shaking. Carefully, he carries you forward at a brisk walk, both of your heads on a swivel, to make sure you don't get blindsided by anything hiding amongst the trees and bushes. Once you reach the opening in the trees back to the lake clearing, it takes a moment for your eyes to adjust to the light, but once they do, you spot Fred standing dead center in the clearing, his stance rigid and prepared. As much as you hate to admit it, it's clearly a fighting stance. His ears are perked and eyes narrowed as he scans his surroundings. His fur is bristled as he turns with slow, measured steps, ready to move a moment's notice. He's surrounded by roots and branches, all broken apart and torn to shreds, almost like an entire tree had exploded directly on top of him, but the roots were seemingly erupting from scratch to the ground. Suddenly, something big lunges directly at him from some brush behind him, but his ears flicked in response to the sound, and within a fraction of a second, he leaps to the sound, causing the monster to claw violently at the air before slamming into the dirt. Wasting no time, it uses its forward momentum to roll forward, spinning around as it does, leaping in for another attack with a gurgling growl. Expecting Fred to dodge again and ready to tell Martha to rush in, you watch in horror as Fred merely stands there. Instead, he dips down and takes a bit. Instead, he dips down back a bit, then swiftly sways his whole body forward and up, led by an open palm, mirroring the motion a dense wall of vines erupts from the earth below the monster. They coil around it, and as Fred clamps his hand into a tight fist, they clamp down on the creature, instantly hardening and catching at mid-leap. What the hell? This first natural cage wasn't strong enough, apparently, and the monster is able to quickly break free, but repeat of his previous motion with his other hand sees it captured was to give a fresh set of boots. Before it can fight against these new restraints, Fred jumps to the side, strapping around it with a series of hops. Each time his feet touch the ground, another swing of his arms and even his legs introduce more and more roots. When he returns to the point he initially started, Fred slams his fist to the ground, to which the roots retract violently, pinning the monster to the earth under a wooden net. No way, Fred has powers too? As Fred looks up at his handiwork, panting but keeping his hand firmly placed under where the monster fights hard against its restraints. Fred's eyes go wide as the roots begin to give, and he frantically slams his other hand to the ground, even more roots shooting out from around the monster and holding it down. Stay down, damn it. Miraculously, this second layer seems to work, and despite the monster struggling they hold, the tension in Fred's arms relaxes and he slumps forward a bit, panting even heavier than before. Well, it looks like he's got this handled. He's that friend I was talking about, Mothik. Let's go see him. We'll probably be safe around him. Mothik's eyes, still wide and simmering with awe, nods slowly, getting to his feet. He carefully walks around the bush you both were hiding behind, slowly making his way out of the cover of the trees towards Fred, whose attention is too focused at the ground to notice your approach. I gotta start right here. Alright, so Fred has powers also. Both him and Shand. I think these powers they have will be useful once they have to go face to face with Dusan. And Dusan himself wants some time with Bruce, the big white tiger in the hood. Apparently he wants Bruce for something. So I think Bruce may be helpful with them when it comes to their powers and training, and hopefully Bruce will have a part in Chad being able to face Dusan. So we enjoy the CGs and the monsters, the design of the monsters, and all the effects in this part of the VN here. They're very great and amazing. It certainly increases the quality of the VN. So that's the part I really enjoy about this part of the VN that I'm playing right now. all the designs and the colors of the monsters and the special effects and all that. It's really beautiful and amazing. So in the next video, we'll see what Fred has to say about him having powers now, since it's no longer a secret. Inside the shop before, Fred notices that both Chad and Martha go behind him, so that way next time we come back, we can start with Fred trying to explain himself to Chad about why he's been keeping this a secret. So that's all I have to say for now. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.